Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5G network seminar conducted by the all-new OPPO Reno5 Pro. We have heard a lot about 5G, but many of us wonder what exactly does a 5G network does, or how 5G is going to change the network landscape in India. Well, to help you understand the 5G network in a deeper landscape, we have an expert, a veteran who has contributed immensely to the networking sector through his expertise and vast experience in signal processing and communication systems. I would like to introduce Professor Brijesh Lal, who is the professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering in Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He is an industry veteran in the field of signal and image analysis, computer vision, multimedia systems, multi-scale modeling of stochastic processing, wide sense cyclostationary process representation, physical layer in wireless communication, and has decades of experience which he wishes to share with us. Without any further delay, let's welcome Professor Brijesh Lal of IIT Delhi.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brijesh, a professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Delhi. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 5G and what it means to you and I as users of the mobile equipment, which has become all pervasive today. To begin with, I will spend a little time trying to make you understand how we have arrived at this particular stage. It all started with 1G about 30 years ago in late 1980s, when the first mobile phones came up on the horizon. At that particular time, there used to be analog mobile phones, and only very few people were able to afford those phones, not just because of the cost, but also because of the size. Most of these were car phones, and over a period of time, they started becoming smaller. A high degree of penetration started with 2G. 2G was a standard that was accepted by all the countries globally, and this is when the penetration increased to a great degree in India as well. In 2G, what happened was people started being able to talk to each other while they were on the move. And what happened was that since you did not need to pull a copper pair or a copper cable right to your residence or your place of work, it became easier to give connections to people. And all of a sudden, there were a lot more of us who were able to stay connected. Not only were we able to talk to our dear friends, our relatives and loved ones, we were also able to use it to enhance our job prospects, our businesses. Plumbers, people like carpenters, they were able to increase their clientele, and all of a sudden 2G or mobile connectivity became something that even the government took notice of. At this stage, even engineers and technicians and the researchers saw a lot of potential, and this is when the technology started evolving. So as we got comfortable talking to each other while on the move, there was a move towards an even better technology known as 3G, the third generation of mobile communication. The idea of 3G was that you were able to support video calls, and what that meant was that when you spoke to another person, you were not just talking to him or her, you were also able to see the other person. And the other thing that 3G did for all of us was that it ushered in extended use of data. For the first time, people realized that the phone is not just about communicating by talking to each other, but you can communicate to each other by sharing files, by looking at emails on it, and other kind of content, whatever made sense to people. So just as you were using computer for accessing data of different kinds, you could do the same on a phone. The only constraint was, of course, the form factor. They were small in size and they had a relatively limited computation capability, at least 20 years ago when 3G was popular. As far as India's story for 3G is concerned, it came in a little late and it was phased out a little early. So we really did not see too much of 3G. But nevertheless, 3G was a very, very important part of this story from 1G to 5G, because it represents the transition from circuit switched to packet switched, or in layman terms from voice to data. Now, as things matured even further, came 4G, and 4G changed everything for us. Now all of a sudden, the voice was not the important content. The important content was data. As a matter of fact, the service providers started offering free voice. This was not a courtesy towards the user. The only thing was that voice is such small amount of data that it became easy for them to provide you voice over data. So when you think about free voice, you should understand that that's voice over data, VoLTE, VoLTE as some people know it, and not the circuit switched voice of the second generation. The second generation voice was pure voice, and that is still charged for by service providers wherever they do. But when you move to the 4G and beyond era, what happens is you can now support voice even over data. And when you support voice over data, then it becomes a very thin pipe in the very thick pipe of data, and that is why some service providers are even able to offer it for free or for low cost. So what does it mean to you and I, to the user, to people who are using the user equipment? What this means is that your phone is becoming more like a computer, and this change is not just happening in the connectivity, it is also happening in the processing and storage capability of your phone. If you look carefully, the specifications of your phone today are far greater or far better than those of your laptop 10 years ago. So what has happened now is that you have high speed connectivity, you have good quality phone. But this is not where it is all going to end. A lot of apps have been built, apps which allow you to have higher quality or higher quality of experience in gaming. And what will now happen is that you will need to improve your underlying networks even more. For the first 1G, 2G, 3G and 4G standards, what had happened was people had built technologies and then they had tried to incorporate them into a standard to provide better user experience. But with 5G, what the people did was that they first decided this is what we want to offer to the people. And then they started to look for candidate technologies and build the solution around it. So to give you an idea, some of the numbers that they talked about was, they said we will want to improve the data rates by at least a factor of 10. So you would be able to support downloads of as high as 1 Gbps guaranteed. And what this means to you as a user is something that we'll talk about a little later in this presentation. But for now, let me talk about a few other things that will impact you. The other thing that is of huge significance is latency. Latency is the time that it takes for you to communicate with the other endpoint. And now if latency becomes small, what happens is the feeling of being closer to the other endpoint increases. And this has huge implications in real-time experiences such as gaming. And this is another thing that we might spend a little time on later. The other thing that became important with 5G was energy efficiency. The reason energy efficiency is so important in 5G is that because you want to use it to deploy devices at very difficult to reach locations. So what you want to do is put sensors there and you want them to work for multiple number of years. Now what this does for a user equipment is that while people start focusing on energy efficiency, it also positively impacts the battery life of your user equipment. So you have to charge it less often. A small thing, but it is something that is quite an irritant. If your phone runs out of juice, it is extremely annoying. So these kind of things are going to very positively impact the user experience. So to summarize the improvements, there is going to be higher bandwidth, there is going to be lower latency, and you will have a better experience in terms of reliability of your connections. There will be more robustness there. And what all of this will do is that you will probably want to use your mobile phone more often rather than put it aside and say, oof, maybe I'll meet him in person, this is so irritating. So these kind of things are going to change with the advent of 5G if we use it right. Now 5G, we must understand, is not just about communicating. Just as I mentioned earlier, 4G was about data, 5G is about data, about voice, about video, but it is also about two very important applications, namely ultra reliable low latency communications and massive machine type communication. When I say ultra reliable low latency communications, the kind of applications that should now become possible are remote surgery. Now, remote surgery has in some sense been the poster boy for 5G deployment. All over the world, people talk about remote surgery. Experts anywhere in the world will be able to operate on patients anywhere else in the world. What this requires is that the connection should be reliable. It should not break during a surgery, for example, and low latency means that the difference between the way the knife moves on the patient's body and the movement that is directed by the doctor has almost no time difference. One does not need to think long to understand what the implications of a mistake here are. The other thing that I mentioned a while ago was massive machine type communications. The reason for trying to support massive machine type communication in 5G was that there was this need for what is known as concurrent connections. A lot of people connected to the same base station at the same time. The reason for concurrency will become apparent to you when you understand that to run a factory autonomously, the number of sensors can sometimes run into thousands. Now, you want to concurrently connect to 1,000 or more sensors at the same time through the same base station. 5G will enable that, and once you are able to do this, what happens for you is that your factory can now run safely and it can perform the tasks that you expect of it. So, this is what URLLC and MMTC mean to normal or business users. And now I will move back to what 5G means to users such as you and I, who will largely be using it for its capability to connect us using the mobile phone. Now let us try to understand what 5G means for you and I with the help of a few examples. The first example that I'd like to pick is the one on video conferencing. The reason for choosing this is that this is something that a lot of us have done a lot of in the last few months rather, because of COVID. What COVID meant was that we were not able to go outdoors, we were not able to meet each other to conduct business. Rather, all of that business had to be conducted using video conferencing. So now if you try to recall your experiences with video conferencing, a lot of us will remember times when we would get stuck with frozen frames. There were times when we had to ask the other person to switch to audio only. At times we had to stop the conversation and reconnect. Now, all of these problems were because of the poor bandwidth. 5G promises to have much higher bandwidth, and it also provides much higher reliability of maintaining connectivity. So what this means is that the next time you set up a video conference using 5G, you will not struggle with such problems. Your user experience will be much higher, and user experience, when it is higher, translates into richer dividends, be it relationships or be it business. So 5G is set to change the way we do business and interact. You will now be able to talk to each other, you will be able to see each other, you will be able to share content in the form of files, videos, or maybe write a few things down, and maybe even close deals just by talking to each other using the high bandwidth that the 5G connection will provide. And even when we get over this tough times that have fallen upon us because of COVID, I see a lot more business being conducted using video conferencing. So video conferencing is an application that will drive economy in the future, and 5G is what will ensure that this happens well. To explain what a shared experience means, let me give you a real world example. It was my children's birthday during COVID times. Now obviously they wanted to meet their friends, but they could not do so in person. So what they asked me to do was, they said, is it possible for us to play games while we connect to each other using some one type of video conferencing capability or the other? Can we watch a movie together? Can we experience what we would have if we were in the same room? This is what shared experience is about. Well, we weren't able to do a lot for them, but they did play some games together, they did watch a part of the movie together, and they were able to comment with each other. But all of this was extremely fractured. You had to use 4 or 5 different applications, and there were times when the connection would break down. So now what is going to happen is there will be times when your friend might move to another country, but because that friend was special and you still want to spend time together, you do not need to travel all the way to that other country to do that. So with shared experience, what will happen is 5G, with its capability to provide reliable high bandwidth connectivity, you will be able to set up a scenario where you're watching movies or series together, you are playing games together, you are together going out on a trek, for example, you are able to watch a cricket match together, you are also able to probably get a few of you together, come up in a kind of a virtual room and engage in activities that you would have normally done in person. So what is going to happen is that 5G, because of its reliability and network capability and most importantly low latency, will take video conferencing to the next level, where you will no longer be communicating to each other by video and voice and maybe sharing a few documents. Rather, you will be sharing experiences, and when one shares experiences, you require reliability, you require high bandwidth, but you also require low latency. There should be no delay between what you and your friend experience and how you interact about it, and this is what 5G will enable. So look forward to interesting and good times with your friends even without meeting them in person. Now another capability that 5G introduces is that you can stay connected even when you're moving at very high speeds. When I say something like this, the audience in India might find this a little strange. In India, rather, we struggle to move at even decent speeds because of the huge amount of traffic, but we have, as we are moving forward, beautiful highways where the speed is steadily increasing, the legal speed at which you can drive is steadily going up, and it will keep on improving as more and more automation is moved into cars. But having motivated the need for connectivity at high speed, let us see what 5G does for you to enable that. So what happens is that to stay connected, the person or the mobile should always be in the range of a particular cell. So when it moves at a very fast speed, there is this need for quick handoff from one cell to the other, and many such needs that arise. So what 5G technology does is it makes sure that all of these capabilities are provided to, and therefore now as you speed down a highway at speeds of 100, 120 kilometers per hour, you will stay connected all the time. The same will happen for railways if they do not provide Wi-Fi, for example, as an inbuilt service. So what is going to happen now is that when you're moving on a road at a very fast pace, you are always connected. This is not just about being able to talk to other people. This is going to play a very important role in the future. In future, we are moving towards an era of assisted driving and autonomous driving. So when you're talking of autonomous driving or assisted driving, the car will need to stay connected to a central server, to other legal authorities. There is this concept of what is known as V2V and V2I, which means vehicle to vehicle and vehicle to infrastructure communication. To enable this kind of communication, 5G paves the way for staying connected even when you are moving at a very fast speed. So the dream of autonomous cars, you're just sitting in the back seat without a driver but being driven to your location, is being made true because of the capabilities that 5G contains within it. All of us at some time or the other have either streamed videos or we've tried to download videos, and some of us of course download music. But of course because the video files are heavier or larger, the experience there is of more consequence. So all of us struggle with downloading videos, and it takes a huge time for the video to download. And this problem becomes even more accentuated when you're trying to stream video. When you're trying to stream video, the most irritating thing is buffering. Now the apps have tried to overcome that buffering problem by reducing the quality of the video, but that might be slightly better than the video stop playing, but you still suddenly have a good quality video becoming a poor quality video. So in either case, the quality of experience suffers. Now with 5G, what is going to happen is, because the kind of bandwidths that we are talking about, upwards of 1 GB per second, video downloads and video streaming are going to become an experience that you will look forward to. You might actually even connect your laptop using your phone rather than the Ethernet connection that you have at home, because the connection would be so fast and so reliable. So now what will happen is, while you are streaming video, there will be no obstructions, there will be no distortion, and the experience will be high quality. Also, when you are trying to download videos in a hurry, for example, probably just before a flight, you are really short of time. And imagine that it takes you 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour or even longer to download the particular movie that you want to watch on flight. Now this is extremely inconvenient. You will end up not being able to watch that program. But imagine that the time in which it takes to say the sentence, download the movie and the name of the movie, you will be able to download that entire movie, because the speeds are upwards of 1 gigabits per second, and it will take probably a few seconds to download that entire video. So what is going to happen is that in times to come, we will consume a lot more video at an experience level which is much higher than what we've become accustomed to. Bye bye to buffering and poor quality video streaming, and enjoy any movie of your choice offline, even if you decide on that a few seconds before your flight. And now let us talk about a little more futuristic application. I am talking about augmented reality and virtual reality, popularly known as AR and VR. Now 5G with its capability is going to make these things a possibility. Let us first understand what these are, and then we will see how 5G is going to enable them. So first is what is known as augmented reality. What augmented reality does is, it takes the surroundings around you and adds content to it. For example, if you are visiting a monument, for example, if you go to a monument, you now hold your phone towards the monument, and as you view the monument, you can add content to it. For example, you could see what it looked like maybe 200 years ago when it wasn't broken. So virtual reality is about synthesizing the entire content. Unlike AR, where part of the content is real, everything is synthesized in virtual reality. You move into a realm which is totally new of your creation. So an example is 4 friends interacting in an environment of their choice. So what you do is 4 of you go trekking. So you create a trek, you create avatars for yourself, you create difficulties and checkpoints and places where you stop and rest, and you create a whole trekking experience virtually. Everything there is synthesized. So augmented reality is about mixing synthesized with real environment. Virtual reality is creating something entirely out of your own thought process. Now when you do any of these two, there is this huge need to be able to support very high bandwidth, very reliable connectivity, and you want it to be low latency. The reason you want it to be high bandwidth is because there's large amount of content. When you synthesize data and you want to render it at another point, there is huge amount of data that you need to transmit between the two endpoints. So you need reliable high bandwidth connectivity. The other thing is, this is about experience. So there is this need for delay not being present. This is what is known as low latency capability. So 5G has low latency capability, and what that will do is that the experience that you and your friends have will not have delay between each other, and therefore you will simultaneously experience, and what will happen is that the virtual reality will come out as something that's believable. So therefore, with its twin capability of high bandwidth and low latency, augmented reality and virtual reality is going to become possible in times to come. Now the bottleneck is not the capability of the network, the bottleneck today now is the capability of the designer, the person who makes the app. AI enables the ability to create content. It creates the ability to render content which contains both real and synthesized data. So it is up to the imagination of the designer and the app builder to create an experience that is really top class, and 5G is what is enabling that for you. And now let us talk about something slightly different from 5G. Whereas 5G represents huge strides in technological development related to communications, there is another area that has seen a lot of development in recent times. I am talking about artificial intelligence. This is something that has become pervasive not just in applications that depend on communications, but in business intelligence, biotechnology. Every area has been very, very positively impacted by artificial intelligence, and therefore the user experience that you will get out of your phone is no different. Scientists have tried to mimic the human brain and come up with an architecture which we know as neural networks. So what neural networks do is that they have this connections, something which exists in the human brain as well, and when such an architecture is presented with a large amount of annotated or labeled data, it learns the underlying phenomenon. It is able to absorb from the data the information that it contains. For example, if you present a neural network with a lot of images of certain kind of objects, for example wild animals, you can teach the neural network to search for wild animals in any image. This is also true for applications which are not on images. You can do something similar for speech, you can do certain things for structured data such as flight times, your own calendar, about your fitness levels. So all of these things can be positively impacted by neural networks. They can churn the data, learn the phenomenon, and provide you accurate and useful recommendations and inferences. So now we need user equipment which is very capable so that we can run these heavy models and we are able to get accurate inferences out of them. But luckily this is something that has been happening. What we've seen in recent times is that we have come up with user equipment which is highly capable. It has very, very high performance chipsets, it has large RAM and large storage. All of this augurs well for user experience. So now we are in a situation where you have 5G as a very, very competent communication technology. You have a very, very able tool in the form of AI ML, and you have a device which is very, very capable given its chipsets, its RAM and its memory. So all of this put together, we are in for good times when we use our mobile phone. And this I will illustrate with the most common application of the mobile phone, namely the camera. The early phones, the first time that the phone appeared with a camera, you were only able to capture so much. It was a tool that helped you get some information about the particular event. But today, the kind of images that you can capture or the videos that you can make using these phones rival the best cameras that exist. Those cameras have been made only to acquire images, but these phones have been made for communication, but they carry cameras which are of the highest quality. So now, why has this happened? If you look into this, the core components of a camera are the sensor, the lens, and most importantly the software. So earlier what was happening was the focus was on the lens and on the sensor. But in today's time, software is playing a huge role in the quality of output of the cameras. Even the actual cameras have a lot of software inbuilt in them today, and they also have communication capability, but that's a different matter. But the reason for high quality image capture today is the quality of the software, and this quality of software is made possible because of the high processing capability of the phone. So today's phone has the ability to process huge amounts of data. So typically what happens is you are able to capture multiple images of the scene, you are able to pick the best out of it, you are able to put it all together and come up with an image which looks much better than what the camera was able to capture as a hardware only component of the phone. And what after this high quality capture, you would want to share it with your loved ones. And what is going to happen is, because 5G provides you reliable high speed connectivity wherever you are, the moment you click anything that you think is of value, you can share it with your loved ones. And this is the strength and power of 5G. The 5G has forced the phones to become capable, and today the moment you use this capable handset to do something, the 5G is able to help you communicate with whoever you want to with the content. And now to conclude, what I'd like to point out is that because of the capabilities of 5G, I am looking forward to its deployment, and so should you. Hopefully towards the latter half of this year, we should see 5G deployments begin. These deployments will guarantee that you will have high speed connectivity which will be reliable and low latency. All of these together promise you a very, very good user experience, and let us hope that all of us are able to enjoy the capabilities that 5G has the potential to offer. Further, I hope that you found this talk useful. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Professor, for the vast knowledge that you have shared with us. We are really excited to experience the 5th generation of network and are eagerly awaiting for it. Well, that's not it, ladies and gentlemen. We have an expert that is fully capable of enhancing your smartphone experience, especially with its futuristic capabilities and 5G. Let's hear about the latest OPPO Reno5 Pro 5G.
Hello everyone, I am Rishabh Srivastav, Product Manager at OPPO India, and I'm excited to introduce you to the OPPO Reno5 Pro, the first OPPO Reno 5G handset to be launched in India. Through 5G, we are more connected than ever, and we think video is going to be the first feature to really take advantage of this 5G era. It shouldn't come as any surprise that we have designed the Reno5 Pro to deliver an even more powerful video system, making it the perfect 5G video smartphone for the new era. At the heart of this, Reno5 Pro integrates a mighty quad camera setup, including a 64 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 2 megapixel mono camera, together with a 32 megapixel front camera. All in all, these provide the ultimate foundation for the Reno5 Pro's powerful imaging capabilities. Helping you make the most of this powerful camera hardware is our OPPO FDF portrait video system. This is an industry first and arguably the best imaging system designed for superior portrait performance. And it is the result of work conducted by 5 global R&D teams with over 700 patent applications to its name. The FDF portrait video system is composed of the Quality Enhancement Engine, which enables you to capture extremely clear video in any conditions, and the Portrait Perception Engine, which helps you make your portrait videos more natural and vivid. With the FDF portrait video system comes a world's first and industry-leading video feature, AI Highlight Video. It uses AI algorithms to automatically detect the ambient light in a scene and improve the video quality accordingly. Now let's take a look at how it works in practice. Here, I'm walking in the dark of night. So dark you can't even tell where I am. But when we switch on the ultra night video algorithm, you'll clearly see the bridge, the Ferris wheel and the crowds of people behind me on this beautiful night. How about this daytime scene? Even with the strong backlight, you can't miss the trees, the people and the birds. They are all unfolding naturally before your eyes. All thanks to the live HDR algorithm. You see, the next generation architecture of AI highlight video combines our exclusive ultra night video algorithms and live HDR algorithms to create an all-in-one video quality enhancement capability. As for the colors, take a look for yourself. The whole image is much brighter, especially the portrait subject. And look at those leaves. The colors appear natural and beautiful. Also, the image on the right is much clearer and cleaner, and there is less noise in the background. In this demo, even with the bright backlight, we are still able to capture the girl's face with the perfect brightness and clarity, thanks to the live HDR. And notice the sun, it is even clearly visible when turning on the AI highlight video. Let's see all of these in action with a video to see how Reno5 Pro shows you in the best light.
Any light can be a highlight. With AI Highlight Video, OPPO Reno5 Pro 5G. Live the infinite.
Now wasn't that amazing? After helping you capture all the details, Reno5 Pro also provides all the tools to help turn your creative ideas into reality. In dual view video, you can use your front and rear cameras at the same time, having two perspectives for the same scene. And you can switch between split screen mode and drag and drop the subscreen freely. In addition to video, Reno5 Pro's top-class photo capabilities can also highlight the best of you in pictures. The 64-megapixel main camera integrates a super resolution algorithm, pushing the photo resolutions up to 108 megapixel. Just keep zooming in, you can uncover more and more details. In low light conditions, OPPO's exclusive night flare portrait will help sharpen the subject and blur light dots in the background to produce the special bokeh effect. And you are going to love the AI scene enhancement, which can identify different scenes intelligently and optimize the image accordingly. So your shot looks stunning without any further editing required. Individually, each camera feature is immensely powerful in its own right. And together, they create a unified video experience on Reno5 Pro that is unmatched anywhere else. Even with so many innovations, we have kept the phone's design sleek, compact, and beautiful. Even with the introduction of 5G, a larger battery, an updated cooling system, and other components, Reno5 Pro is slimmer and lighter than you can imagine, at 7.6 mm thick and 173 grams. For the design, we wanted to create a phone that would echo the boundless nature of the cosmos, bright and full of ever-changing starlight, as though the entire Milky Way lies in the palm of your hand. Using the industry-first OPPO exclusive Reno Glow process, we have created Astral Blue for Reno5 Pro, a shimmering and elegant color which also keeps your phone fingerprint and scratch-free. This new AG glass process improves the microstructure of the glass to achieve a matte effect which also features sparkling details. And the new generation applied in the Reno5 Pro has been further optimized for a more detailed, shiny and transparent effect. In addition to the Astral Blue, Reno5 Pro is also available in the stunning Starry Black. On the front, you will find a 6.5-inch 3D curved display. The extended edges provide borderless immersion, making the phone feel lighter and slimmer. With 90 Hz refresh rate, HDR 10 Plus certification and 100% DCI P3 color gamut, you are guaranteed a more vivid visual experience. Moreover, it is certified as an eye care display. To provide you with the most high quality content, Reno5 Pro is certified for Netflix HD and Amazon Prime Video HD and HDR. While Reno5 Pro is stunningly beautiful on the outside, it's also incredibly robust on the inside. Now, I would like to invite Anku Jain, Managing Director of MediaTek India, to the stage to share more about what MediaTek has brought to Reno5 Pro.
Thank you, Rishabh, and hello everyone. A very happy new year to you all, and thank you for joining us. I am Anku Jain, India MD at MediaTek. MediaTek has been working closely with OPPO for a long time now, and together we have made many firsts in the country. With years of accumulated experience in integrated chip technologies, MediaTek has made breakthroughs and innovations in all aspects. MediaTek is at the forefront of powering 5G with our advanced 5G chip and modem technology. MediaTek's flagship Dimensity 1000 Plus is the world's most advanced integrated 5G SoC with upgraded gaming, video playback, seamless connectivity, faster speed, and power efficiency, delivering a high-end premium user experience. The Dimensity 1000 Plus 5G SoC supports 5G 2 carrier aggregation and has the world's fastest throughput SoC with a 4.7 Gbps downlink and 2.5 Gbps uplink speeds over sub-6 GHz networks, which is designed to deliver premium performance, ultra-fast speeds, and seamless connectivity. The new Reno5 Pro is the first smartphone to offer this 5G SoC in India, and we believe that this smartphone and our chipset are the perfect match to revolutionize 5G in India. For the AI camera capabilities, the supports of multi-frame 4K HDR video on MediaTek Dimensity 1000 Plus helps OPPO AI highlight video to better realize crystal clear video and photo capturing for you, even in extremely bright or dark environments. The supports of AI NR and HDR also enable low noise and high dynamic range for extreme low light photography. Even with this impressive power, we still have MediaTek 5G Ultra Safe, which is world's most power efficient 5G modem design for smartphones to solve power saving problems. It can dynamically adjust power configurations and operating frequency based on the network environment and data transmission quality, providing up to 45 to 48% power savings versus competitor flagship platforms. That's all I wanted to share with you today. I hope you get to enjoy the unprecedented 5G experience that the Reno5 Pro will bring, powered by our flagship Dimensity 1000 Plus soon. Thank you all once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anku Jain, for such a great introduction. Now, to help you better enjoy the 5G experience for longer, Reno5 Pro features a 65-volt SuperVOOC 2.0, the fastest charging technology commercially available in India. You can charge the phone to 100% in only 30 minutes. And just 5 minutes charging gives you 4 hours of video playback. Besides insanely fast charging, Reno5 Pro also makes the most of 5G's blazing fast connectivity. But just how fast? Well, the answer is up to 3.54 Gbps peak download speeds on Reno5 Pro in theory. How are we doing this? You're probably wondering. Well, we've introduced the 360-degree surround antenna. It can automatically match the antenna group to ensure consistent and stable 5G connections based on the way you hold the phone. Besides, both Wi-Fi and 5G network channels can be activated at the same time. They can be combined and switched automatically to further improve network speeds. To see 5G in action, I would like to now invite Mr. Tasleem Arif, R&D Head of OPPO India, to walk us through a Reno5 Pro 5G network test.
Hi everyone, hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. I am extremely excited to welcome you to first ever OPPO Reno5 Pro 5G speed test demonstration. 5G, being a futuristic technology, is set to lead the world with infinite speed, immersive experience and greater realism. So let's experience it at OPPO Reno5 Pro 5G test demonstration right here in our test lab. Nowadays, the one thing that people are doing most is binge watching. Let's see how fast we can download this movie.
100 audio. 100 audio.
And it's done. Wow. It takes just 11 seconds to download a movie of over 1 GB. This is incredibly fast. Now let's see how fast we can download songs. Multiple downloads happening in the blink of an eye. Just 4 seconds and we have downloaded 4 songs. Really an amazing speed. One issue every online game faces is the game gets slow due to poor internet speed. With the Reno5 Pro 5G phone, the whole gaming experience is going to change with no lagging at all. Let's check out how quickly we can download and play a game under 5G.
100 audio.
That was a fast download.
100 audio.
This is great. Playing here seems a lot of fun. With the super fast 5G speed, Reno5 Pro is a complete package of superb technology and incredible speed. And I wish you guys enjoy experiencing the smartphone soon. Thank you everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Taslim Arif. Looks like India is ready for the great 5G experience. And now it's time for our Color OS. On Reno5 Pro, Color OS has been upgraded to version 11.1 based on Android 11. It brings you more space for creativity, more efficient and thoughtful applications. All-around customization means that you can customize your own UI, including fonts, icons, always-on display, color scheme, dark modes and much more. You can create your own always-on display with a finger swipe. The text content, colors and typography in the preset templates can all be redesigned by you. For dark mode, ColorOS 11.1 offers 3 color schemes and levels of contrast, with the addition of enhanced, medium and gentle. With these options, you can be certain of a comfortable viewing experience. ColorOS 11.1 is also able to significantly improve your working efficiency on Reno5 Pro. Flex Drop gives us an easier, faster and more intuitive way to multitask by having apps run in full screen, small window or mini window simply by clicking, sliding and switching. Another feature worth mentioning is the 3-finger translate with the Google Lens, co-created by OPPO and Google. We can translate the text in the screenshot as soon as we take a 3-finger screenshot. It currently supports translation in more than 60 languages. ColorOS 11.1 also includes Private System, giving you 2 completely different systems on your Reno5 Pro. Now these systems segment your private information, pictures and data from others who may also use the phone. On the whole, our privacy and information security exceeds industry standards, for which we have received ePrivacy, ISO 27001 and other third-party privacy certifications. Now let's take a look at this quick video to see the Reno5 Pro in action. To help you out, let's quickly recap. Reno5 Pro is an incredible all-round 5G smartphone with the world's first AI highlight video, the flagship Dimensity 1000 plus 5G SoC, the industry-leading 65-watt SuperVOOC 2.0 flash charge, the one and only Reno Glow process, and a 3D borderless sense screen. With so much in one device, you're guaranteed a premium smartphone experience. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for, the star of today's show. The OPPO Reno5 Pro. How much will the Reno5 Pro cost and when can we buy it? To answer the question that's on everyone's mind, I'm excited to tell you that the first 5G Reno smartphone to arrive in India will be priced at Rs 35,990. It will be available from January 22nd, 2021. Feeling excited? I know I am, and I think the Reno5 Pro will be the first step into the world of 5G for many of us. To help you on your way, we will be providing you with some amazing special offers, so stay tuned. Until then, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us.